Now we're live. Awkward pause. Hello. Um, sorry. I just got really nervous. Um, Hi everyone, and welcome to the Open Circle. We're here with Jazmine the Sage today. If you want to say hi.
That would be a good start, right? Hi, everyone. Hello, I'm Jazmine the Sage here on YouTube. I'm just really excited to be here. This is my first live. I had, yeah, this is my first live. So I feel like this is like the start of something hopefully beautiful and new. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm here for it. And I think it's a part of my journey to grow in the way where I have to speak publicly, even though I'm scared. So let's do it.
Aw. Yay. So I see Jasmine Ambrosia left a comment. We have Draven and Alondra. Draven and Alondra are my peeps. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna talk about her path and her practice. So let's roll the intro. Shut the window. Okay. So thank you for wanting to be a guest on the show. Like I'm really excited to have you. I've been lurking and creeping on your channel for a while. Um so I got some questions. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel?
Yeah. So I kind of have like a weird up and down history with YouTube. I had my first channel ever. I don't know if it was like maybe 12 plus years ago. It was during the time where it was still acceptable to have slideshows. So I had a,
Wow.
yeah, so it was a while back, and I was really into doing like makeup, and they would have makeup like competitions where they would say, okay, make this type of look or whatever,
Mhm.
and I would create my look, do the slideshow, and enter it. And that was because I've always loved doing makeup, and I was in beauty school at that time, and so it was
Wow.
a means of, yeah, it was a means of me to express myself.
Mm.
However, I kind of let outside criticism get to me. To be completely transparent, I had a friend tell me about a comment that this girl made, and I liked showing the makeup process from like a bare face, like no makeup, till the finished
Yeah.
product so people could see. And I've always had issue with acne, especially
Mm.
during those years. I had really bad cystic acne. So in the before pictures, you see all of my acne, right?
Mhm.
And he told me, he's like, oh yeah, she said that you're really ugly. You know, like you look really ugly without makeup on. Yeah. And to me, that was like, oh my God, like I felt so horrible. Like even thinking about it now and talking about it, it's fucked up. You know, it's fucked up. And I mean, he didn't think that, but at the same time, I'm like, why did he have to tell me that? Because now I was just like, I don't want to do shit. Like, I don't want to make anything. Like, I just wanted
Yeah.
to go back into my cocoon. So I don't even know what happened to that YouTube channel. If it's still floating in the air somewhere, I don't know.
Wow.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so that was my first YouTube channel. Then I made a second YouTube channel, like maybe I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. And that was more focused on like my fitness journey. I was really into like weightlifting. I still do now, but I was obsessed with it. And so my YouTube channel was geared towards that. Uh,
Okay.
I ended up, I ended up not continuing with that because I was in a really like uh, stressful relationship at the time, and there was a lot of moving parts. So I just completely fell off.
Mm.
And I think that I want to share something about that channel too, because I was trying to be vulnerable. and talk about my fitness journey and what it had done for me, how it had helped me put myself out there more. And then I received another comment, but this one was from my then at the time boss slash friend. We worked at a
Mm.
shop where you wrap cars, and he told me, he's like, "How come you're not being yourself on YouTube?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, you act different on YouTube than you act when you're here with us." And I
Mm.
remember thinking, I was so confused because I didn't know what he meant. And so my reply
Mm.
was like, I think it's because I'm not talking to anybody. Like, I'm just talking to myself versus like having a conversation to where I have to attune myself to that person because I'm trying to make them like me. And then that's when
I
I realized, I was trying to be more like consumable for a specific audience, depending on what that audience was. And
mm.
yeah, so that kind of opened my eyes. And then now we're here doing probably the most vulnerable and daring type of content. And honestly, I never thought I would be doing it. Not in a million years. So that's kind of like my long-winded response.
So what inspired you to start creating content, especially witchy content?
So if you really lurk and go to the very first video that I made, it's
Mhm.
actually I think it's a book haul, but like not witchy at all. So I didn't
Mhm.
start this channel to make it into a witchy channel. That kind of happened. I started it just to show my life. I really liked reading books, so I thought maybe I'll do a booktube channel. And
Mhm.
then I was like, nah, that's too much pressure. I'm gonna have to be reading all the time, and if I'm not reading all the time, I won't have content. And life happens,
Mhm.
so that may not be the case. So then I thought, okay, I'm gonna start doing vlogs too. So I started showing like vlogs of like me hanging around with my close people and doing different things, and that was
Mhm.
cool. I'm also a full-time student right now, so I thought maybe I should also vlog how I'm feeling at school, and so I did that for a little bit. And I think that's when I told myself my only goal is to be consistent. It
Okay.
doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's a vlog. It doesn't matter if it's me doing my nails, if it's me doing my hair. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter what it is. I'm just going to post, and I'm going to post it. And that was very hard for me. And I remember sometimes I would post even though like nobody was really following me. I would
Mhm.
like hit publish and I'd be like, ugh. And I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to look at it. I'm going to leave it alone. I already published it. I'm going to forget about it for like 3 days. And it is what it is. I put it up. And that's how I slowly built my consistency. But the witchy content, I think I started hinting a little bit here and there, like, oh look, I got this fairy deck. Let me show it to you, and
Mhm.
like saying little things, posting up, making crafts, or with one of my friends. We also did like makeup for the Day of the Dead, so that was kind of like me, like poking the bear. But I didn't
Mhm.
fully commit until the Neo Pagan November challenge. Like
Yeah, I
for me,
remember
that
that.
was that was the bomb. I was like, there's nothing ballsier for me to do than to create a video every single day about something in the craft. Like, I'm not going to be able to do loads of research and fluff up the content to make it look like, oh, I'm an actual sage, right? Like,
Mm.
I'm just going to put it all out there, and I'm probably going to forget some things that are key in my practice. Oh, well, it is what it is because I'm on this path to grow. And that's my one goal. I just want to grow and grow and grow. So I need to put myself in uncomfortable positions to do that. But I get to choose the level of being uncomfortable, right? That's my choice. So
Mhm.
that's how I kind
Yeah.
of kept a little bit of peace.
Okay. Like, I don't know how. Oh my gosh, the consistent thing, like, that's something I struggle with a lot. I can't, like, for me, it's like I'll post when I wanna post, like, when I feel inspired to, like, I guess this question wasn't on the list, but, like, how was it, like, a struggle to, like, stay consistent? Or, like, did you find it easier over time? Like, do you have an answer?
um, so it's definitely one of these things. right? Previous to doing the witchy content, it was easier because
Mhm.
I'm just vlogging whatever boring shit I come up with. It doesn't matter. That the only criteria I have to meet is that I post. Doesn't matter how
Mhm.
long, doesn't matter if it's edited, doesn't matter if I'm wearing makeup or not, it's going up. Once I met that threshold and I went into the witchy content stuff and I started to actually get subscribers, that's when I was
Mhm.
like, oh shit. and And I was like, okay, how are we gonna do this? The Neo Pagan November thing made it easy because it's like post every day, your thoughts, cool. But when that was over, I was like, what the heck am I gonna do now? And then and I was like, I already talked about all this stuff. I'm not gonna rehash it again. I mean, maybe I will, but I don't know. And I was just like doing all of this, and I noticed that the more subscribers I got, the more thought I was putting into my head about the channel. And I was like, no, 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 no. I got to take a step back because I'm doing this for my growth first and foremost.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not coming on here as a teacher. Will I teach something? Maybe. Will you learn
Mhm.
something? Maybe. But at the end of the day, I want to grow. So if something is preventing that, then I need to manage it better.
Mhm.
Um, so I did start struggling because I was like, I have so many ideas. But then you start getting in your head of like, but that's a dumb idea. Nobody wants to see that. And at the end of the day, when you withhold those little bits of yourself, you're
Mhm.
also not really giving to your audience what it is they're here for. At least in my opinion, I want to see everything, I want to see
Mhm.
what it looks like from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Are you thinking about witchy things all the time, or is it just a part of your essence and you find yourself doing these things and then later think, hey, that was witchy as fuck? Like
Right.
there's so many like components to it. And for me, like I didn't have a teacher. Like my teacher was books and experience and YouTube.
Yeah.
So I wanted the nitty gritty because I wasn't having somebody tell me, well, when I was this many years old, I did this, and then all of a sudden I saw this differently. Like, so to me, I was just trying to absorb as much information as possible. Part of
Mhm.
that had to do with imposter syndrome because I was like,
Right.
you know, am I am I doing this right? Like, how do I know that I'm not just pretending? And then that also came from one of my personality traits, which is to jump from hobby to hobby quite a bit.
Mhm.
So I was like, is this who I am? Is this a part of me, or is this just a hobby? Um, I mean, it's not a hobby anymore. I wouldn't categorize it as a hobby at all, just because it's been years,
Mhm.
and I think that I realized it the most when I personally had to go through some, I would say, like things that I'm not used to in my mind. And I kind of felt like I was losing myself and I didn't really recognize myself. And I saw, a lot of, I guess what you would say as like these motherly arms to console me. Like that's kind of how like I see it in my mind. That was the craft for me. Like I use it as a means to try to always heal myself. And
Mhm.
I consider myself to always want to solve my own problems. So I think that if you have that personality, you're probably inevitably going to find yourself doing the craft. Like, I mean, when you're thinking like, I'll try anything, I'll do anything, you're going to find
Mhm.
yourself here at some point. Um, and, being open minded definitely helps.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like the thing about like not having like a teacher, like that leaves room for you to develop your own personal gnosis too. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's more free thinking. And
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And hello to Justin, the Witch of Enchantment. Thanks for stopping by. Um and Alondra said, imposter syndrome is real. Wait, my blind ass. Imposter syndrome is real for everyone. Yeah, for everyone. Absolutely. Yes.
Mhm.
We all go through it. Like it happens. It's a thing. It sucks. and like it can be really self-defeating too. I hate it. Um so you had mentioned like you create vlogs. Is there any other like style or type of content that you create?
Yeah. I would say I don't want to say it's all over the place because it makes sense to me, but maybe from an
Mhm.
outsider looking in, it's like I thought we were just making candles and now you're gonna do a vlog about going to the gym. But which is, something that I'm gonna put up next. That's why it's, in my mind. But how many times, I mean, I've heard it numerous times from a lot of the witches that have been practicing for 10, 15, 20 plus years that witchcraft is their life. It's the way that they see their entire life. Everything is magic. So if that is true, and I believe that to be true, then it doesn't
Right.
matter what I'm doing, And so I decided, like, instead of just posting a fitness blog, I'm going to do that and possibly do a voiceover and talk about how I have utilized this in the past as a
Mhm.
form to heal myself or as like a means to enhance my craft or practice something or visualize better or whatever the case may be. Because all of the things that are still in my life today definitely lend themselves to strengthening the witch that I am today. So how are those not part of my magical practice? So that's how
Mhm.
I justify all of the stuff that I do. I don't know. It's kind of like, I guess, if I was going to sum up my content, it would be like a witch's life from my lens.
I love that. I love that. Like, you're right, everything is magic, but also it's like I feel like some people need to have hobbies outside of witchcraft because like even though it all ties in, it's good to have
Mm-hmm.
a like separateness. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I was
Mhm.
going to say this before I stopped talking, but like, for example, like if I do a vlog when I go off roading with my partner,
Mhm.
nothing about that is like really related to the craft
Yeah.
except for it puts me in a meditative state
Yeah.
when I am there. So that, whether I acknowledge it or not, is going to help me be a better practitioner.
Absolutely.
So that would definitely be a hobby that I wouldn't say is witchy, but
Mhm.
it has components that are going to strengthen that part of me.
Yeah.
Um, just kind of like how a lot of people say, oh, you have to be grateful, and that's that's very difficult to do sometimes. Um, but when you're in the mood and you do
Mhm.
it, you're like, dang, I didn't know I had all those things, and it just and I just feel like that also lends to you believing in you being a person of value that deserves good things.
Mhm.
And speaking from my point of view, I wanted to do spells and workings to better my life.
Mhm.
But do you believe you deserve your life to be better? Because I think that belief matters.
Yeah,
So
if
I
you
don't
don't
know how
believe
you
in
feel
your
about
magic,
that.
is it gonna work? You know? You have to. Like, you have to believe that you deserve these things or it's not gonna work. It's not gonna be effective, or at least not as effective as you want it to be, you know?
Yeah, I do think that there are some instances where you might not really be in a good headspace of
Yeah.
like being your number one fan and you
Mhm.
do a spell and maybe it still works.
Yeah.
In those cases, I see that as kind of like a power boost. In those cases, I'm like, dang, I must be that powerful. I made that shit work and I didn't even, damn, like take advantage of that. Like your
Yeah.
successes, like really, really take advantage of that because when you're not feeling that, you need to have something to look forward to. You're like, but I did feel great at one point, so we're gonna look forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, that can help your confidence as you, like, continue too, you know what I mean? Like, "Woo, confidence boost," manifesting. So, yeah, absolutely. So what are your hobbies outside of witchcraft?
Okay, so that was a hard one. But I did mention off-roading. So
Mhm.
I actually rode a motorcycle, a street bike for like 5 or 6 years. So I love motorcycles. I'm just not currently riding the street right now. I just
Uh-huh.
have a dirt bike.
Okay.
So riding on the dirt bike, that's really fun. It really puts me into my body because I don't have an
Mhm.
option. If I'm not in my body when I'm on that bike, I'm gonna eat shit. So
Yeah.
that's that's definitely one of the hobbies. I also like making jewelry, but I also debated on that one because I'm like, well, that can be witchy too. And
Yeah,
candles, well, that can be witchy too.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if I'm looking at something for like longer than 5 minutes, it's probably going to become a hobby. Is it going to stay? Who knows? But I like
Mhm.
trying different things. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess working out is a hobby too, but I kind of see it as like a lifestyle thing, just because
Mhm.
I'm kind of giving that to myself, to my body. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what else.
Gotta look at the questions. Um, let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. Is makeup a hobby? Is doing your hair a hobby?
I
I
mean,
feel
it
like I
can
do
be if
those.
you enjoy it, you know?
Yeah, I like customizing things, so I definitely enjoy that aspect of it. Um, but it's like a thing I do all the time. Like it's almost like a mini self love ritual, if you will.
Mhm.
So that kind of touches on the witchy stuff too. But yeah, I think that sums up most of my hobbies.
Okay, and, Draven, that comment was gone. Um, Draven wanted to know, like, dirt bike off-roading, only or Jeeps and dune buggies too?
Okay, so I have a dirt bike. My partner has a Razor 1000, which is an off-road vehicle. It's not. I guess it could be considered a dune buggy. So those two. Well, he also has a quad that I ride every now and then. So so a dirt bike, a quad, which has four wheels opposed to
Yeah.
two, and then the dune buggy, which is like an off-road car. So yeah.
I've been on, a quad before. Like, I didn't drive because blind girl driving, that's not a good idea. Um, I rode a 50 by myself, which is like this little tiny little ass dirt bike. You know what I'm talking about? They're like really tiny. And I ran into a tree. Don't let the blind girl drive.
Okay, but okay. I had a 50. Okay. I
Yeah.
had a 50 because when I was riding my street bike, I was like, I'm going to be a stunter girl. Like, I'm going to pop wheelies. Like, I'm going to be so badass. Like, that's what I thought, right?
Mm.
So I get this little 50, and this little 50 has such a big kick. So I'm like, you know what? Let's not do something too stupid. I'm going to go into my backyard, which isn't that big, and it's all
Mhm.
dirt and like patches of grass. Now we have trees, but back then we didn't. And I
Mhm.
was riding the little 50 around there, practicing my turns. Bless you.
Sorry. Sorry.
Practice, practicing my turns, and I have a dog that digs holes. So
Oh,
I got a
no.
little nervous getting. I got a little nervous getting too close, and I ended up. I don't even know. I wouldn't call it falling into the hole because it wasn't that big, but I ended up eating shit. I have you. You're just gonna eat shit. So
Oh,
like,
no.
and I can see fine, right? So I don't even know. Like,
Oh my god. For me, it's like I held on to the throttle and I was scared to let go.
hmm
God.
yeah, that's actually how a lot of people get into accidents. Is on the throttle they get nervous so they clutch it, or the
Yeah.
bike starts going fast so they get pulled back, and then
Yeah.
they pull on the throttle and it pops
Mhm.
up a wheelie, or they just lose control and fall.
Yep.
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah.
So, like, aside from, like, also with your hobbies, I remember because like I binged your Witches Black Lent Seven Deadly Sins thing, and you had mentioned that you liked anime. So, what are your favorites?
Okay, so I know this is gonna be like super cliche probably if you're an anime fan, but my introduction to anime was Naruto. And I will be a diehard Naruto fan probably till the day that I die.
Mhm.
um, I have a Leaf Village tattoo right here on my rib cage.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and then I have another one on my back that I'll probably do like a mini show and tell because those are the only two tattoos that I have. The only two I have, they're anime related. But they're
I
like
love
power
it.
symbols. Yeah, they're power symbols to me.
Yeah.
And I actually started rewatching Naruto because I wanted to give it like a witchy lens. And I
Mhm.
started taking notes and I'm like, ooh, that method he does right there, that's so great for like energy, like accumulation. And that the way
Mhm.
that he does that, like I was just like, oh my God, this is you could do witchcraft off of these anime characters. And so funnily enough, that's part of the reason why that's my YouTube name.
Okay. Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Oh, so like, who was your favorite Naruto character? Because now I have to ask. This is totally.
Okay, so I personally very much dislike, I would even use the word hate
Uh-huh.
Sasuke.
Yeah, me too,
So
girl.
that's
Me
that.
too.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why do people like him? He's a dick.
Absolutely, I freaking agree with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love Naruto because
Mm,
he is a loner and he's not the smartest by far,
mhm, mhm.
but man, does he try. He
Yeah.
tries so hard. And I love that. He just keeps trying and he just believes in people, even people that are evil. He believes that they have good in them. And I
Mhm.
love that. So he's definitely one of my favorites, but I love Rock Lee.
Aw.
I definitely would keep him in mind if I was working out and I needed a push, like an extra rep,
For
because I would
sure.
just remember, I just remember him saying like, if I can't do like 300 push-ups, then I'll do 1,000 sit-ups, and if I can't do this, yeah. So him definitely. I would say that another one of my favorites was Pain.
Okay.
I just, I just love first of all the aesthetic, like
Mhm.
the Kostaki robes, and then like the multiple piercings.
Yeah.
That's my jam. So that was I just love the visual, but just like seeing the whole arc of Pain, where going from like being a child and everything that made him who he is. I like seeing that. Like you realize that like the villains, are really
Mhm.
just that one dimensional evil that people want to paint them to be. So I really enjoyed that. However, I dislike that because of him, my most favorite character, spoiler alert, died,
Uh-huh.
which is Jiraiya.
Aw.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which
Rest in
was,
peace, Purple Sage.
yeah, rest in peace, Kirby Sage.
For
So
sure.
yeah.
This is totally off scripted because like I didn't write this down and I hope you're okay. But like, have you ever cosplayed?
Um, no, because I kind of just wanted to create my own character.
Okay.
So I haven't officially cosplayed and like tried to look like Hinata or whoever.
Mhm.
I haven't done
Yeah.
that. But I used to dress up a lot when I used to do those makeup videos that I mentioned earlier on my early YouTube days. I used to
Mhm.
dress up a lot. I used to have like old prom dresses that
Mhm.
and I am not a seamstress, so I was hot gluing the shit out of everything. But as long as long as it looked good in a picture, like I was good. So yeah, no, I haven't
Yeah.
officially cosplayed.
Okay. Is that something like you'd want to try?
Yeah, I think for the longest time I did see myself doing that.
Mhm.
And then I started school, and then yeah, it got pretty dark for me.
Okay.
Going to school
Mhm.
was sometimes still is a very very difficult. I consider it one of my biggest shadow workings.
Oh,
Um, yeah.
I feel that. I feel that. Like, I don't know, school. I don't know. I just don't think it's fun. You know, it's traumatizing.
Most
Oh,
definitely.
like I put 5 years into social work, and I never graduated. But like, it's bad when like you put a lot of time into school and then you realize, oh, that's not what I want to do with my life. Why am I doing this?
Well, girl, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually kind of like where I'm at right
Mhm.
now.
Oh
Um,
no.
but yeah, that's why I said, girl, let me tell you.
Oh no. Ugh.
So I don't like speaking in absolutes because I always tell myself I have the freedom to change my mind at any
Yeah.
given moment. Um, but I am like this close to graduating, so I'm just gonna finish off my degree. But I'm definitely going to pause on pursuing what that looked like it would have been or like it was gonna be
Mhm.
years ago when I first started. But I'm not mad about it.
Mhm.
It it made me push myself in a lot of ways that I don't think I would have. At the same time, it made me believe that I was capable of doing many things I didn't think I would ever do, and I definitely would never have learned had I not put myself in that situation.
Mhm.
Um, I just learned a lot from it. So yeah, I just have this term and then 2 classes in the summer, and I'm done. So I'm just gonna finish
Wow.
it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. Well, congratulations in advance.
thank you.
You're welcome. And hello, Shadow Sun and Blood, Sweat, and Steel. My voice is all crackly. Okay. And I gotta look up my questions again. But like, as I look at my questions, like, um, I was gonna say something, now I forget what it was. um, but like, I don't know. I guess it's good to have other hobbies and such because like you're more than a witch. You know what I mean? Like there's so much more to us than our craft. You know what I mean? But what are some of the goals for your channel? Sorry, I'm getting all tongue tied and shit. So, do you have
It's
any goals for your
okay.
channel?
Um, I
Sorry, I'm
think
like awkward.
we're both awkward, so it's great.
That makes me feel better.
I think if I was going to have a goal for my channel, it would be to keep it on a similar track of where it's been going, which
Mhm,
is very much based around community. Um, I remember just being like nervous to post a comment
mhm.
on anybody's stuff because I was like, they don't know my tone of voice. What if this sounds aggressive? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know them like that. What if I'm trying to be cute and funny and it sounds like I'm a
Mhm.
bitch? Like, you know, like,
Right. Because
so,
like with text, like you can't indicate someone's tone. It's a lot colder. No matter what, you can't figure out like the tone of what someone's trying to say. So I get
yeah.
that. I
So,
totally get that.
luckily, that didn't happen. Luckily, that didn't happen.
Mhm.
Everybody has been.
Oh, where'd you go?
I don't think I could have asked
There
for
we
a
go.
better experience so far. Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. Like the
I,
audio cut out for a second, and then it got really clear and crisp. So we're good. We're good. Okay.
okay. uh, but yeah, I think it's definitely centered for me around community, continuing to talk to people on there. But I think what's most important for me is to stay as, or not even stay, but become more and more vulnerable and
Mhm.
sharing just more of like sometimes what is my mind chatter, my
Mhm.
experiences. I'm just trying to really get to the point where I completely reject perfectionism.
Mhm.
That's like a big one for me.
Mhm.
So I kind of see my channel like it's a cool ass witchy corner, you know? It's a
Yeah.
powerful place that I've curated for myself. Um, so I just want to keep doing that as long as I can. I don't have a subscriber goal. I don't have
Yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, like it would be nice to have like better looking content or like more aesthetically pleasing content,
Mhm.
but that's not something that I really care to invest too much in now.
Right, I get
So
that.
so yeah, because I'm like, okay, if I try to make better like aesthetically pleasing content, is that going to hinder the consistency that I've worked so hard
Mhm.
to achieve? And I'm not willing to let that happen. So
And
yeah,
also,
those are
like,
my goals.
perfectionism, you know what I mean? Like, you mentioned, like, you don't want things to be perfect, and, like, by upping the aesthetic, like, is that gonna, like, clash with, like, the whole perfection thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, at the end of the day, this isn't like saying what's wrong or right. It's just what has to be the case for me. This is what I'm doing for me. Like, I enjoy
Yeah,
aesthetic ass witchy content. Like,
yeah,
I'll have it in the background just playing because it's so beautiful. But,
yeah,
it's just not my journey right now.
I totally get that, for sure. Um, any other goals?
Like, in general or just for the channel?
For your channel or for your practice if you wanna go into that. My
Hmm.
gosh, I'm so froggy, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Damn. For my practice, that's a hard one because going back to that whole perfectionism topic,
Mhm.
I think about, I always want to know everything, and that's not possible, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I constantly find myself getting like absorbed to this like new type of practice or this new book, and I want to read it all, but I also know that by reading it, I'm not really in it. So then I'm like, do I want to make this a part of my path or something that I'm going to work
Mm.
on? Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I guess the rule has been lately that if it makes me fall out of consistency with anything else that's important in my life, then I need to leave it alone for now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a hard one, but I mean, I like to jump around a lot. I like to learn about how everybody came to think what they think.
Mhm.
I think it also sometimes it amazes you, and sometimes you're thinking, well, we're not that different.
Right, because there's a lot of similarities in every path and pantheon, there's common things, for sure. And, yeah, it makes you wonder where that came from, like, how did everything end up similar in a way? Oh. So, um, what are you currently reading right now? Are you reading anything new?
I'm always reading something.
Mm.
I'm always reading something, not because I am very consistent with my reading, but because I love picking up books and like reading pieces of it, and then I put it down and pick up another one. Um, so right now, I'm actually taking a Native American women's class at my
Cool.
university.
Okay.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. So because of that, I read an assigned chapter of a book, and I loved it so much I bought the entire book, and that's this
Mm.
one.
Ooh, okay.
So the title is "We Are Dancing for You: Native Feminisms and Revitalization of Women's Coming of Age Ceremonies." That book so far,
Mhm.
like it's written by somebody who's a professor, so
Okay.
it's got that type of language, but it's
Mhm.
not difficult to read. And it just shows how so much of these ceremonies that
Mhm.
maybe were lost or were almost lost
Mhm.
are a huge part in helping women believe in themselves
Aw,
and have overall better life because they had these ceremonies.
that's
And I just
beautiful.
think, yeah. And I just think about like, oh, the ceremonies, the rituals, practices that I do and how those have empowered me and made me
Mhm.
feel that I'm capable of doing X, Y, and Z. And because of that, I've been able to do, these other things. And it just like really spoke to me. So that's one of the books that I'm reading right now. Another book that I'm reading, it isn't, it's tied to that class, but it was in a paper that referenced or cited this book. And I already had this book and it
Mhm.
was on my bookshelf. and that's red medicine.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I haven't read it myself, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, I'm not done with this one either. It's about traditional indigenous rites of birthing and healing. And yeah, it's also got like the amount of sources in the back of this book is insane.
Oh,
The reference
wow.
section, yeah, the reference section is like 10 pages or more or less of this.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they have good source material. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't even have words for it because it's so powerful. It's so powerful, but they touch on different indigenous, rites of birthing, also healing and then they touch a lot about the way that blood, specifically menstrual blood, was
Mhm.
seen, and then goes into that whole like because of the colonization that happened and how they treated their women and how they were trying to basically have the native people assimilate to that, which made the blood of a woman's menstruation seem dirty
Yeah.
and basically less than sacred, when in reality the native people saw it differently. Of course, I'm not trying to say that all native people are a monolith. Every specific tribe or group has differences in whether they are more matrilineal versus it's more of an equivalent exchange. There's just so many differences. I don't even know where to start. That's
Absolutely.
like a whole
Yeah,
other video. Yeah, that's a whole other video.
for sure. Wow. Yeah, like I don't know. It's crazy how women used to be viewed, like, with the whole Christian thing. Like, I'm not hating on Christians or anything like that. I'm just saying that, like, that's a big difference. Huge
Yeah,
difference.
most definitely. Most
Mhm.
definitely. I was taking the problem. I think the name was the problem or a problem. No, the problem with religion as a
Mhm.
class. And that professor, she's hilarious, and she was really driving forward the idea of Christianity
Mhm.
and patriarchy
Mhm.
being brothers. And she had like a bunch of different sources. We went through Freud and oh my god, that's a whole other video too. But
There's
you
some
really start
ideas.
seeing right, right. There's some more ideas,
Yeah.
but you really start seeing the power dynamics and what it's about.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
why are these systems standing? Who's calling the shots? Who's benefiting? And why are certain people being suppressed? What is
For
being
sure.
feared? Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's what I'm reading.
Very cool. And, like, I like that you're reading, like, academic books, like, you know, I just feel like not everyone reads, like, witchy books 24/7, like, yeah, that's a variety, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not judging anybody, but you know what I mean? Like, it's good to have variety, and, like, there's lessons in academic books, you know what I mean? Like, the stuff
Yeah,
that
most
yeah.
most definitely. But I don't think I would be reading academic books if I wasn't in school or had gone to school.
Okay.
Like to be honest, I would have been like, that seems like too complicated. I'm good, and
Mhm.
I probably would have left it to the side. But I am in the process of almost finishing Changeling by Aidan Watcher. So
Mhm.
that one's the one that I'm in the middle of blogging for my channel right now too. And I really like it so far because I don't know, I kind of wish I had that book as a beginner, personally.
Yeah.
I feel
Is
like
it
it asks
good?
a lot of the.
Cause like, now I wanna check it out, like, after seeing your video. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I think it's good because it makes you question things. Like, oh,
Mhm.
there goes my Bluetooth. Hold on. It makes you question things like, why do you believe what you believe? Why do
Mhm.
and to me, that I think would have been a lot more useful than, use this herb for prosperity.
Mhm.
You know, like correspondences have their place and their purpose.
Yeah.
Um, I think that you very much build your own correspondences based on the relationship you have with those things. And I think
Mhm.
that's a lot more powerful than what a book has to say on correspondences.
Mhm.
However, if you have nowhere to start and you want to do, like, let's just say a spell on money, and you're like, I wonder what I can use for that. Let me get some ideas. Then, yeah, use the correspondence book to, get some ideas.
Yeah.
So, you kind of have to experiment with yourself and see what's going to work for you and what's not. Because if
Mhm.
you're wanting to have results, then the way it works for so and so may not be the way that it works for you. And
Right.
I feel like these things have already been said so many times. So I'm kind of like getting on my own nerves right now. But yeah, I think it's a great book because I like to question things, but sometimes I didn't know what questions to ask or why I would need to ask them. And I think he outlines that beautifully. Um, yeah, so that book I would recommend to a beginner. Even me, who I don't consider myself a beginner, but I wouldn't consider myself advanced. And I thought about
Okay.
this with that one question you asked me, or that is in the script.
Yeah.
but like when I first started, like my book of shadows, like to have a section where I ask myself these questions to see where I stand, and then come back to them later and see, do I still believe this? Why or why
Mhm.
not? How has this benefited me to think this way? Why or why not? Things like that.
Mhm. Like, I feel like structure has a place and a time, but, like, it's good to, like, deviate from that as well because, like, that's how you, again, develop your own personal gnosis, and that could be more impactful than use cinnamon for prosperity, you know? So,
Yes.
I don't know. Um, but, like, you're saying something, like, about, consider yourself advanced. What is advanced to you? I'm sorry, this is again off script.
No, it's totally
Oh,
fine
okay.
because I was gonna ask you that.
Like, for
I was
me,
like,
like, advanced practice is I know, Justin, the Witch of Enchantment, and Brittany, she changed her channel again, A Bridge to Brittany, um, they talked about that on Wine and Witchcraft a lot, and, like, I agree with a lot of what they said is that, like, advanced practice is experience. It's like, "Okay, I read all this shit, now let's do the shit."
uh-huh.
It's putting that like, knowledge into practice, and to me, that's advanced. Like, it's not like reading some, like, academic level witchy books. I mean, those are great if you want to further your knowledge, but you don't need that to be advanced.
Yeah, 100% agree. This
Mhm,
kind of touched on something that I wanted to rant about a while back, but then I kept on just like, nah, I'm just gonna put it in the back of my mind. And this
mhm,
is years of practice. So, some people will go on and say, I've been practicing this many years, whether it's 1, 3, 5, 25, and, that's beautiful to share that. But then you go on and you give some advice, whatever that may be, and to a newer practitioner that maybe doesn't have the discernment is thinking, wow, this person has been practicing for all of these years. They must know so much things. They're like the authority on witchcraft. And in the reality, the way that I think about it is, okay, you've been practicing this many years, but did you take a gap year?
right,
Like what does that look like? Like, did you practice every day? Did you practice once a week? Did you practice once a month? Were you
right,
practicing with many people by yourself? Did you change your practice at all? Did you experiment with your practice at all? Did you question things? Did you do shadow work? Can you do shadow work? Like, there's
mhm,
just so many other questions that would better help people. So, like,
mhm,
I'm very iffy about saying how many years I've practiced, which is 7, by the way. um, but I'm very iffy with saying that because I don't want people thinking, oh, you practiced this many years more than me, so you must know more than me. And that may not be the case, especially
absolutely,
because, I chose what to study based on my interest and my, inner working that I had to
mhm,
do, or, my, my, what would you call it, my shortcomings or the things that I needed in my life or what I needed to cope with in my life. And
Yeah.
that could be vastly different than what's going on in your life and what you need. So, and so saying years is like beautiful to see that somebody's been practicing for that long. But I just, hope that people think a little more deeply about what would that look like for you?
Mhm.
Does that look like more consistent, less consistent? Is it more eclectic where you just like in one practice for 3 years and then you change to another practice for another 3 years? Like that all
Right.
dictates on how much knowledge or what type of knowledge you can give somebody. Um, because everybody needs different type of knowledge depending on what path they want to take. And that's why I like books, but I have to constantly tell myself with books, I'm reading this to open my mind, but I'm
Yeah.
also very aware that I don't have to take shit from this book.
Right.
Like I don't have to use it. I don't have nothing. It's my
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah, take what resonates and leave the rest. And like also it's like having discernment, like is this author claiming whatever, you know what I mean? And like how legit is it? I've come across that problem a lot with books. Oh, cuz like that's their experience. And like just because it's their experience doesn't make it valid, you know? There's that. um and also saying like I've been a witch for 40 years. Okay, you've been a witch, but that doesn't give you any kind of authority, and you can't like you got to back it up. Like where have you been, what you been doing, like you know what I mean? I don't know. That just bothers me when people hold like years of experience over people's heads. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does have a place in
Yeah.
in places where maybe let's just say you have somebody who has a coven
Yeah,
or who
sure.
hosts workshops or who is teaching people.
Mhm.
That's when you want to look at experience, but then you have to ask those questions following that answer
Mhm.
because you also want to know if you're a good fit. Like, yeah, they can have amazing experience, but are they a good fit for you? And that's also very important.
Yeah.
Um, because, like, I love people that work with community because it has been hard for me to work with community. So I really like people that, are open to helping other people and, having workshops and leading circles and all of the things. I
Mhm.
think that that's commendable because it's something that would require a lot of me right now. So I really do admire that, but we just got to make sure we're asking the right questions.
For
That's
sure.
all.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Um so how would you define magic?
How would I define magic? I think that the way that I would define magic is something soft, but also hard. Um,
That's what she said.
the moment the moment I said soft, and then I was like, damn, I can't say anything else but hard. So say the opposite of that. I walked right into it.
Yes, you did. You
Um,
set yourself up.
I really did.
Oh,
Yeah, that I think it's very in between the lines, very in between the spaces, very in between the extremes.
yeah.
I don't know. It's like it's everything. I think it. I think for me, it's what's allowed me to see the beauty in everything. It's it's allowed me to go outside and actually just be happy that I'm alive.
Mhm.
Um, and it helps a lot, like being on social media, like on Instagram, and seeing like so many people like just putting out all of these like horrible things. Like some people go on there and they're vulnerable. That's cool, no problem
Mhm.
with that. but some people go on there and they're just so mean to other people.
Yeah.
And I just think about like, maybe if you had magic in your life, because that's kind of what it is for me. It's like I'm not trying to keep going on the whole Christian theme, but it's like my savior.
Yeah.
And I actually was raised Catholic. I was baptized. My grandmother, she already passed away, but she was the closest thing you could be to a nun without being a nun.
Oh
She taught
wow.
us she taught us catechism and everything. um, and I remember having to memorize like these different prayers and thinking, why am I even doing this? This is so
Mhm.
boring. Like that was just me. But I would still find myself praying when I like saw myself in like times that needed like assistance. I
Yeah.
would still pray. I would still pray, but I just kind of would feel like a little butthurt about saying the word God.
Yeah. Where do you think that
But
came from? Like
um, I don't know if this is because I've always just been a kid that hated being told what to
mm.
do. um, maybe it's my dad's fault. Hashtag daddy issues.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, I feel that.
but I don't know. I like questioning things, and I like thinking that there were options. So
Mhm.
when I was being told it's this or face the consequences, I was like, that's it. That's life. Like, nah, that sounds horrible. Like
Mhm.
why would anybody want to live like that? And I know like Christianity, my whole family is still either Christian or Catholic. Like there's only like maybe one cousin and then my sister and I who are, got the witchy bug, but
Uh-huh.
everybody else is still like very much. And then I actually, one of my cousins, she's so deep into it that she posted a video like maybe like a year ago talking about this testimony of all of these Christian people bashing witches and why witches were evil.
Oh.
And she had no idea, that I say that I'm a witch and I claim that
Yeah.
title because I hadn't come out to anybody at that point except for, my close friends. So I'm like, this bitch don't even know. but but yeah, just like seeing that and it's like, but I would have never made a video to say those things about your faith or your belief system.
Right. Right.
Like but like yeah, like I think I don't know, like most of my answers seem so freaking cliche. Like how many witches have said, like, I've always questioned everything. I was a rebellious child. Like, I think we all have very similar origin stories, even though they deviate with experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was definitely the why kid. Like,
Mhm.
but why? But why? But why? But why?
And then when you don't get those answers, it's like something's missing. Like, give me the details. Why? I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, or show me a way to find how I can get those details. Or
Mhm.
how, if I can't get those details, what else can I do?
Right.
Is there a different way to
Absolutely.
think about it? Like just more complexity. I just wanted more complexity.
Yeah.
Um, I hated it when adults would tell me because I said so. Oh my god.
I feel that.
I'm like, and you are like, why? Like, why? Like, yeah, I had a lot of rage when I was a kid because of that, and I used to feel like I was such an adult when I was a child. Like, I didn't understand why adults had to have adult conversations. Like,
Mhm.
why couldn't I be there? I already know everything
Right.
they're going to talk about, so they might as well include me. Like, yeah, so I had a lot of anger because I felt so disrespected as a child. I was like, why does what I think not matter?
Right.
Why don't I get respected? Why is it when you say no, it's no, but if I say no, it's we'll think about it.
Mhm.
I just had a lot of issues. I wrote a lot of hate poetry to my dad, in my teen years.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
I put my dad's name in a death note before.
Oh, I was gonna talk about Death
It worked.
Note.
It worked. He died.
More power to you.
Who knew that there's magic in anime?
There is. There is a
Mhm.
lot of magic in anime.
Mhm. For sure. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, people in the comments. I'm an ass. I've been, I haven't been ignoring them because I have been reading them, but like, you get caught up in the conversation, and um, I lose track. I'm very like, I don't have ADHD, but I feel like I have something. Hello to Blood, Sweat, and Steel. I saw you pop in. I don't know if I said hi or not. I think I did, but hi again. What time is it? Okay. Oh, I kept you an hour. Did you want to wrap up or did you want to go for a little bit? Because like I respect your time and I don't want to like keep you.
We can keep going.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, I just feel bad for getting distracted. Okay, thank you, Alondra. Hi, Shadow Sun. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the script. So, what video are you the most proud of out of all of the ones you've made so far? Because you made a lot. So, yeah, which one are you the most proud of?
I think it's a tie
Hmm.
between a neo pagan November prompt. I think it was the cultural influences one.
Oh, yeah. I just watched your I've been binging your content so I can prepare.
Yeah, that's what I would do. um, yeah, I think that's definitely one of my most proud of ones because I knew that I was going to be vulnerable because that was the whole goal, right? But I didn't
Yeah.
think that I was going to get emotional.
Mhm.
And being able to feel that, knowing that I'm recording and that I'm going to upload that later,
Yeah.
it was vulnerability packaged with power. It felt like this is the reason that, I came onto YouTube to
Mhm.
watch this, but also to experience this and show this. So I
Right.
really, like that goes back to me talking about before, really appreciating really vulnerable witchy content because it's hard. You talk about all these things that excite you and that have worked for you and that make you a badass, powerful witch. And then here's this video where you're talking about these aspects that just thinking about sometimes make you cringe.
Mhm.
Um, and that wasn't the case in that video, but yeah, I'm really proud of that video because I was like, that's okay. I'm going to upload it. And that was one of those videos where I uploaded it and I was like, I'm not going to check on that video for another 3 days. I'm good.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Like, were you afraid of the controversy with that?
Um, no, because I mean, like back then I
Mhm.
knew that there was possible controversy comments, whatever from anybody at any given moment. And
Mhm.
I used to think that if I walked carefully enough, I would be safe. And it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how you walk, you're always going to be prone to anybody's bullshit.
Yeah.
Um, so at the end of the day, do what's your medicine and do what's going to help you because creating that vulnerable content is medicine to me. So my health over their opinions seems like pretty fucking good fair trade. So I definitely have to like hype myself up and talk to myself, really watch my inner dialogue so that
Mhm.
I'm ready when or if that happens. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was one of my favorite videos that I made. The other one being for another witchy challenge, which was the Deadly Sins challenge, and that
Um,
was the one where I had to write the poem.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also very like nerve-wracking for me because this is something that I wrote. Like, what if I sound illiterate as fuck and nobody knows what I'm trying to say? And I'm like, damn. Like, and I thought about it. Like, I knew what the prompt was
Mm-hmm.
days before I made the poem. And I just kept thinking, like, I have to do it. I have to do it. And I'm like, not today. Not today. I pushed it off for like, I don't know, like maybe a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I like doing all kinds of workings, mostly when it's dark outside. So it was already dark outside, and I sat down here, which is where I sit to do a lot of thinking or planning and workings and whatever. And I was like, it's time. And I just started writing one line. Like I started like a rough draft, and then it just started flowing. And I was like, this just feels good. So even if it's not perceived the best, it feels fucking right. And it feels powerful for what the end goal of the challenge is, which is to create like an entity for me, you know? So I don't regret a thing, but that was like something where I was like, oh, I don't know. And then when Jazmine and Beanbag Hagwag did their like live where they were going over like different people in the challenge, I wasn't on the live, but I went back and watched it, and I saw that I was like speeding through it to see like if they were going to show people, and I thought they showed me, and I was like, I don't know if I could see that.
Oh, that was powerful.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know if I can see that right now, but eventually I went through it, and I was like, I got power from that, from them talking about it and looking at my stuff. I was like, that was nice.
Oh, that was a very good video. That was so powerful. I loved that. And like, here's the thing, like, someone out there is always gonna be like a sensitive little like, you offended me. Like, you're always gonna either encounter like assholes or just like someone who's just gonna take it personally and it's not even about them. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Like, don't be afraid to like speak your mind. Just get it out there. Like, there's gonna be assholes. That's what the delete button is for. So, but I see where you're coming from. Like, I don't know. Sorry, my eye is like burning, and I don't know if it's because like of a candle. Cause like, hold on, like I put oil on a candle, and it's like smelling really bad, and it's like burning my eye. Woo. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Sorry for like the weird walk away thing. If we did that question, let's see. So we're gonna jump around a little bit. What are your favorite like fiction, nonfiction, or witchy books? Sorry for like the jump around.
Okay, so nonfiction witchy books.
And they don't have to be witchy at all.
Well, actually, the first one I'm going to talk about, I don't know if people would consider this witchy, but it's one of my favorite go-tos. And it's Awakening to the Spirit World, the Shamanic Path of Direct Revelation.
Ooh.
So as you can see, I tabbed the shit out of this book. And that's just because a lot of, this is like general shamanism as opposed to like specific to a region. Which there's another book that I can recommend for that talks about different ones, but there's always going to be, I think, a group that's left out because, well, it is what it is. I don't want to get into that right now. But this one I really like. just because I think trance work is really important. And for people that struggle with meditation, like I struggle with meditation a lot, but once I started actually doing shamanic journeying and trance work, it was like, this isn't hard. But for some reason, I don't know if it's the word meditation. I don't know. But this helps a lot. It talks about so many different aspects. It even talks about, like, when people are dying and, the role of the shaman. But it's so easy to read. It's so digestible. And it's a good, I think, intro book to shamanism in general.
Okay.
So that's definitely one of, like, my favorites. And I pulled it out a couple of times just to, like, reread pieces of it. Because when I was reading it, I felt like, I feel this. Like it resonates. So that's one that I really like. And then I already talked about Changeling, which is, I think, a great book. But then there's Condensed Chaos.
Oh, I never heard of a lot of these. These are new to me.
You're like,
Cool.
Yeah, this is also well loved. I like Condensed Chaos a lot. I actually was introduced to chaos magic by Kellyanne. And yeah, I love her. I really, really love her. I loved how heady her conversations are.
Yeah.
I just really like the way she digs deep. Like, that's the stuff that I really, really like.
She's very analytical. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. I just think she's smart as hell. But yeah, Condensed Chaos, I got as a recommendation from, I think it was from her, because who else?
Okay.
But it was like years ago. And I got really interested into, like, chaos magic and what that was. So this is my favorite chaos magic book, because similar to this book, it's going to give you a good skeleton of what it is or what it can be for you, and different ideas or, like, things to play with. And that's what I like. Like, tell me how I can make it my own, or tell me how I can, like, fuck it up in a way that I'm not thinking about it because I'm too much in my head,
Yeah.
So I really like Condensed Chaos a lot. It really made me start thinking about anything can be magic more than anything else ever had. I was learning how to write a computer language. I don't know if it was C++ or or maybe it was R or Python. I don't know. I'm not a pro in any of those, by the way. Okay, only entry level here. But there's actually a reference in here. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I don't know where it's at. But basically, he was talking about how when he was trying to learn how to write a program or learn how to program, one of the two, he basically envisioned himself as being, I don't know if it was Spock or another one of the Star Trek characters. I forget who he said. And, like, he was, like, embodying that so that he could basically be able to write this program or solve this computer issue. I don't know. I can't remember exactly the details. But that's when I was like, wait, I could do anything with magic then. It was such a, like, weird thing, because it's like you believe it, but then there's always a limit up to your belief system. And then that kind of, like, broke another threshold for me. And I was like, okay. And then I started looking up, like, tech witches. I started Googling tech witches and tech witchcraft. And I was like,
I love
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Have you ever, like, incorporated tech into your magic?
I think that every single thing that I put my fingers in the interwebs, has a ripple effect. So I would say yes. More specifically, social media through pictures, like on Instagram, my story. I'm basically, like, that to me is glamour magic.
Mhm.
Um, like I'm showing you what I want you to see from me. I'm
Right.
curating, and that's very powerful. Actually, I recently put up on my Instagram, like my bio says Rebel Chaos Witch and then 18 plus. So if you go onto my page, you'll see that. And like those are kind of my identifiers, right?
Mhm.
But I had never really fully communicated to anybody, hey, I'm a witch on my social media, on
Right.
Instagram.
Right.
So 2 days ago, I did a ritual and I was just feeling all kinds of good. And I had a close friends group where I do post witchy content. And I decided, you know what? I want to show them, the candles that I'm burning and things like that. So I went ahead and took like a video and then I was going to post it to only my close friends. And I was like, nah, fuck that. Everybody gets to see this shit. And I posted it on my main story so everybody can see it. And
Mhm.
then I posted a selfie of myself and I said, I'm a witch, bitch. You can get with it or get lost.
Oh, I love that.
And I was like, I don't know who she is, but I love her.
Ooh. I
Yeah.
love
So
that.
so then I started getting like reactions to my post, but the only reactions I got was like heart and like clapping hands. Like
Yeah.
nobody said anything negative. Nobody questioned what am I talking about. Like, and I'm like, dude, like a lot of the times it's all in your head because what I've been putting out there on my Instagram is somebody who is strong, who is capable, and who doesn't give a fuck. So why would they question what I'm saying right now? And to me, that's a form of magic
I
because,
love that.
like I'm vulnerable on the YouTube,
Yeah.
but Instagram is a different monster for me.
That's awesome. Have you ever, like, used, like you can make a sigil digitally and then, like, layer it behind your photo, um, like, transparent, and it's there, like
I have never done that, and I work with sigils heavily. So now I'm like, I have to do that. That's so fucking
yeah.
cool.
You can
That's
do, like, a
cool.
protection sigil for, like, your videos or your channel or, you know, to enhance whatever you're doing, girl, like yes.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Make it
right now, the
plain.
only thing, yeah, the only thing I do digitally with sigils is that I keep them in my phone when I need to use them because
Mhm.
sometimes I'm not, in a space where I have a pen and paper or something. So
Yeah.
having it in my phone, it's like it's always with me. But yeah, that's fucking cool. I definitely want to give that a try.
Yeah, try it. Let me know how it goes. Bye, Blood, Sweat, and Steel. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so how long do you wanna keep going? Because like, I don't wanna keep you forever.
Um, how many more questions do we have?
Um, I don't know. I don't know, like, I've just been, like, so lost in the conversation and, like, enjoying it, and, like, I accidentally, like, asked you more than what was on the script, like, I would love for you to come back for a part 2 at some point for sure, like, I'm just really enjoying this conversation.
I was gonna say we can do a part two, so we're
Yeah,
right here.
for sure. Yeah, because like, I'd love to have you back. You're so bubbly and you're such a joy, like, oh my
That's
gosh.
that's how I feel about you.
Oh, I think I'm boring, but thank you.
No, no, no. I know you're good because you're making me feel comfortable. So that's already
Oh,
like,
yay, that's good.
yeah.
Like, I try to bring that cozy space to people. Also, little self promo here, people. Sorry. Um, there is an open circle Discord server for those in the community seeking a nice, cozy, chill environment. It is 18 plus because legal issues. And there's the invite code for those who want to join. It doesn't expire or anything like that, and there's no paywall or anything. It's totally free, no obligation to join. So, like, if y'all don't want to join, you don't have to, but it's there. So, okay. Did you want to wrap up? Like, how long do you, like, I could keep talking forever. So, like, do you want to come back and do a part 2 later? Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, let's come back and do a part 2.
Yeah, sounds good.
That way we can sift through what we didn't touch on or what we did, because it's like...
For sure. Yes, I'd love to have you back. I do have a guest for June. So yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
For sure.
We got the emails
Okay.
going on.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You were such a joy. It's been awesome to get to know you and know more about your practice and all that and your channel. So go check out Jazmine the Sage if you haven't. I don't think your YouTube, I'll put your YouTube link in the description because it might not be. I know a lot of your stuff is, but if your YouTube's not, I'll put it in there. But yeah, thanks for being on the show. Do you have time for like questions?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a few.
Okay. Does anyone in the audience have questions for Jazmine before we head out? Shadow Sun says, "Oh, hello." Okay. Shadow Sun says, "Thank you." Oh shit. Okay, blind girl issues. Thank you for this wonderful chat. Okay. Highlighting stuff. If there's no questions, we'll head out and we'll do. Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Well, obviously I have questions, but like, we'll wait on those because like we didn't complete the list, but we'll do that some other times. Like, I'm really awkward. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think I saw somebody have a question, but I don't know how to access the chat.
There is. Let's see. Like I could see
I think it was Draven.
It's in comments. Oh, does Draven have one?
Yeah. He said, when the video started, you mentioned chants. Do you make them up, or have you found some that you liked somewhere? Yeah, that was. Okay, cool. I think I might have mentioned this. I don't know if this is already uploaded or if it's the one I'm gonna upload about the changeling, because Aiden Watcher actually gives you a lot of chants. In his different ones. But my issue is I like shit to rhyme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
I feel that.
To me, I like it. To me, that's a rhythm. So da or da 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 da, like, like, I don't know, whatever it may be. But his throw me off because I start reading it and it starts off so good, and it's like I want it to rhyme, and when it doesn't, I feel like I'm missing a step and I fall.
Yeah.
So for me, his chants are good, but I have to either customize it or make my own altogether just because of the rhyming component. And that's on me. That's just, that works better for me.
Rhyming, it flows better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially if you want to use that chant to get into an altered state, it helps if it rhymes. To me,
sure. Yeah,
because then you can almost murmur it or keep it low and just like and then you kept, like, it just it lends better to my practice, I would say, for me to have a rhyming chant. That's just my personal preference.
I feel that. I'm the same way. And Alondra says, I like that because you were making it suit you, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the key.
Mhm. I agree. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I think we'll be back for a part 2 at some point. Looking forward to that. Well, yeah, let's wrap it up. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate your time and wanting to come on.
Thank you
So,
for having me and popping my live cherry. Live.
oh baby. My pleasure.
Yeah. I'm starting to see why we get along.
For sure. All
Yeah,
right,
it's been a pleasure.
thank you. It has. All right, everyone, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Yes, we want to